So this is where the idea for Singles in the Bible, the meetups, really came from. I am Jarisa, and I am the creator of Singles Unanimous. So if you're single, join us. So in 2025, last year, I started hosting single events. And really the heart behind that is to have a space where people can come together, create community, and be intentional about being in the same room, having conversations with people that are like-minded and people that you would generally consider to be a viable option for a little bit more. That was really my intent. Now, I have to recognize, and something that I learned is that it is challenging to market one thing as multiple things. So what that means is that although there's different intent, or there's multiple intentions behind the gatherings, I think people that are very hyper focused in one thing or the other, they were maybe having challenge or difficulty really identifying with the space. So it was really interesting to me, because I started, whenever I would invite, specifically, a lot of my planning and a lot of the behind the scenes work goes into really reeling the men in and getting them to actually put things on their calendar, accept the invites, and just follow through on actually reserving spot and showing up, really. So I don't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do. But really just helping in like getting the men to the table. That was really a lot of my time, because I'm a woman. I think women see, women planning like events for singles, they show up. It's easy. In the Christian space, we all know that there's a lot of us. There is a lot of us. So that's why a lot of my planning, I would always tell anybody that would ask me, a lot of my behind the scenes activities goes into recruiting the men. Like, hands down, that's what I would spend most of the time. The thing that I thought that was most interesting when I started talking one-on-one with some guys specifically, or just inviting different men that I would come in contact with, I heard things that really surprised me. I had one person actually say that they were taking a sabbatical from dating. So they were actually like for a specific set of time, they were going to take a break from actually like trying to meet anyone and talk to anyone, which I'm like, you know what, that's great. I've been single long enough to know that that's a good thing and that's a healthy thing. You could do that. No judgment there. But at the end of the day, I kind of was wanting to let him know, like, you can still participate, because the point of this is to like make community and be friends, and even share in the experience of saying what are the things that we are kind of coping or dealing with as single people, Christian single people in this world, because it's wild out here, okay? So that was one. Another interesting thing I heard from a gentleman was that they came willingly, and they were like really open to meet someone to date, I have to say, because yeah, they even shot their shot at one point. But then behind closed doors, what I heard was that like they almost wished that the gathering was more so focused on fellowship, or like actually just like being friends. And then I'm like, well, it is what you make of it. So if you wanted to make friends, you could have just made friends. Like, yeah. Let's see. What else did I hear? I heard from a recent divorcee that they were not ready. And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, that's good. You be single. And as long as it takes for you to like, get healthy and on all that good stuff. Let's see. I heard from another divorcee say that this is the first time that I will start dating as a Christian person. So I really, before I even get into really a space to try and date, I need to just like really start at ground like -1 and really figure out, as a Christian, how would I even approach this? So all that to say that for every single one of these individuals that I talked to, and multiple of them that kind of said different things along those lines, my concern, or at least the burden that I had, is how can we have a space where people can be relaxed, make community, like legit and real community, make friends, because as adults, let's face it, we're all kind of looking for it. I mean, we need social spaces where we can just be and not worry about somebody like trying to give us, the look of like, hey, I'm interested for more. So for all those reasons, that's what I thought that if I'm going to do something for singles, then I have to also meet the intent of really creating a space where the true single, the person that is not looking, the person that is not interested in dating anyone anytime soon, that they can also have a space. Because once we graduate from young adulting, like we may be young at heart, but life looks different when you're, when you're like progressing in years. So yeah, for us mature folks that are single, I think we deserve to have a space where we can just be and relate and be social and be able to talk about just different things and even offer each other, I don't know, constructive encouragement, the ones that are really out here in the wild. So that's really why Singles in the Bible came about. Now, why focusing on singles on the Bible specifically? Well, because I think there's so many voices out there that are talking about dating. I mean, everybody seems like, they just kind of create a platform and they're like, just like, let's talk about dating, let's talk about relationships, which is great because I think there's a market for it and there's a need. However, I see that what's really lacking is people that are really encouraging us to be biblical about our dating, right off the bat. Like, I'm not arguing, I'm not saying that dating is in the Bible. However, I think that we can learn some principles about how to walk single in our lives as adults that are not yet married. So that is why I thought that it would be most beneficial for us to have a space where we can really just talk Bible and we can really use the Bible as our principle. We say that we are to live like, as Christians, we are to follow what the Bible says. But let's face it, the minute that we need advice, the first thing we do is we try to Google, we go to YouTube, we go to some tutorial, we go to some influencers, we go to somebody that looks kind of halfway, maybe a quarter of the way credible. And then we just start to kind of look at what they say, what they teach, and from their experience. But if we're really honest, how many times do we actually just think to first go Bible? And I think we need to start returning to that and just like neutralize it. Maybe if we did that, it wouldn't be so crazy out here. I'm just saying, that's my hypothesis. So if you want to be part of the journey or you want to prove me right or wrong, whichever camp you're on, then join. I'm inviting you officially. If you watch this and you know a single person, invite them, let them know that this is happening and share it. Because like, for real though, they probably need it and they could probably benefit, or they could probably be in the room to encourage somebody else. And that's what I'm really hoping for, that we can share in the experience of singleness together, because single doesn't have to mean alone or lonely. So hopefully I will get to see some fresh faces at Singles in the Bible. The first one kicks off January 17th, 2026 in the greater Cincinnati area. So Singles in the Bible, stay tuned, join. Bye.